Bop! Howdy hey, this is Frakbox, and I'm here with Omegawolf.
Yeah.
You must have had a long, tough road ahead of you. Did you not? No, there's no need to explain. I already know. You must be hungry. It's a good time for you. I happen to be carrying something to eat. Buffalo meat. What would you like? Oh, he has a croissant.
I'm pretty sure these are like exploitative prices or something like that.
Exploitative. I mean, he is out in the wilderness, so... So do you think you should
I
get...
can just see less.
What'd you get? I wasn't
Nothing.
looking. You should
He's
go there and
talking about
visit.
Saturn Valley.
Saturn Valley.
Which is where we're already going to. Yes. Come to me, my pretty butterfly.
So you know what's interesting? You know what that reminded me is, so I was at work the other day.
Come to me, my pretties!
To the butterfly. Oh look, a thing. A bomb.
Bomb.
A bomb?
Yep.
What's this?
Getting C4 up in here.
Just explosive plastique. Just
Oh my.
So is that like a sun-bathing zombie or something?
I think farm zombie.
Oh, a farm zombie. Okay. So I was at work the other day, and it's a pretty common topic of discussion at work that why Pluto isn't a planet. We talk about that a lot because a couple of the guys at work, they're a little more conservative than I am, and so they're a little more like, Pluto's a planet. You know, like they're like really up in arms about it, basically.
Well,
So-
is Mars or not Mars? Is Mercury bigger than Pluto?
Is Mercury bigger than Pluto? Yes, absolutely.
All right then.
Yeah. So that's an alligator. So I made a little diagram showing, because I know basically the reasons why Pluto's not a planet, and I can explain it using diagrams. So I drew this little diagram, this like really bad looking one in Microsoft Paint while I was at work, and I explained to him why the current scientific body, that astronomic body, does not consider Pluto a planet, more like a planetoid, and they don't consider it part of the standard model like we used to anymore.
Yeah.
There's a thing called a cherry ring, and I'll probably flash an image of this on the screen. But as a planet is orbiting, say the sun, for example. So
it's
let's
actually in line with.
let's take like the Earth. Okay, so the Earth is going around the sun. Now imagine the line in space that the Earth is traveling along. The Earth wobbles, kind of in a circular, like vortex type motion.
Yeah.
So that line, the line it's going through is passing the planet. It's inside the planet, basically. Mathematically, like coordinates, like where it would be going.
Yeah.
So, but even though it's like wobbling in a circle around that line, the line never actually leaves where the mass of the planet would be.
Yeah.
Pluto doesn't do that. Pluto actually orbits with Charon, its moon. Charon and Pluto orbit more like each other, and they orbit around the center line. So imagine, what's a good way? Like the spokes of a bicycle, right?
Yeah.
So the center hub of the bicycle is where the line would be, and Pluto and Charon orbit around that line in space where it would be. It's not inside the planet like it would be for like the Earth or Mercury.
Yeah.
So that's one reason. And so I drew a diagram of that, and I mean, there's nothing really you can say about that. It's just it's whether or not you consider that to be a good reason is a whole different story entirely. But that's the reason. That's one of the three main reasons that the scientific community actually gives.
You know, they can actually look at Pluto and Charon and kind of see how dual star systems actually influence.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, most of the stars you see out there are actually two stars orbiting each other.
Yeah.
Most of them. Now, there's a
These
lot
are
of them.
Mr. Saturns.
Oh boy. So the reason I got reminded was because Saturn, and then Saturn, space planets. That's kind of how I got on that. Do you want slumber? Oh no. Okay, I'll let you do a voice.
Do you want slumber?
Do you?
Gale.
Gale. Oh.
Became the Magnum air gun.
Whoa.
I'm just imagining the Magnum from Left 4 Dead. Just like an air gun version of that. Just bam.
Wow, he's quite innovative.
But
let's see. What's another reason? Like
54. Awesome.
What's another reason that Pluto isn't considered a planet? Oh, because at minimum, if we were to consider Pluto a planet. Oh, okay. So let me go back. Let me backtrack to that point. So the cherry ring thing that I talked about. If we considered that not important for what we considered a planet, like if that was something that didn't rule out something as a planet, we would have to consider like the moon a planet.
Yeah.
The moon and then the moons of Jupiter, because they also orbit around that ring. And there's very little difference from those moons. And in fact, those moons are actually larger than Pluto.
Yeah.
And they're more like planets in their own right. I mean, if for some reason Jupiter were to disappear, I hope it does not, because Jupiter's important. And it keeps all the asteroids in the asteroid belt.
Feed is zombie full.
Oh.
I saw bad stink behind the falls. Zoom.
Just Russian Mr. Saturn. I saw. Or like Eastern European. Like what's the accent you're going for with these guys?
I'm not. I'm just going with whatever.
It's kind of, yeah. It's.
I'm kind of like bringing my tongue forward as I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. Withdraw all of it.
Why?
Because I want everything that I need.
Do we have a place we need to use it here? What are you doing?
I need to upgrade everyone, but first I need to clear room. Let's get rid of the skip sandwich. That just makes me faster.
I mean, it heals you too, right?
I'm not entirely sure. Let's see here. Yes, I need to sell.
I guess while you're doing this stuff, I'll just talk about Pluto some more. So, also, Pluto doesn't orbit on the regular orbital disk.
Yeah,
that everything kind of
it's a slanted disk on its own.
Yeah,
and isn't it like out in the Kuiper Belt?
It's almost there. I mean, the Kuiper Belt itself is something that's a little harder to define. It's not really like,
it's kind of like a junk place.
Basically,
it's not quite where all the lighter elements have gone outside of the cosmic or the solar winds.
Yeah. So that's one reason, is that Pluto's kind of tilted at not 45 degrees, but more like, what would you say? I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. So it's tilted a bit, like its orbital pattern. Also, one of the reasons that Pluto is not a planet according to the scientific community, one of the debated definitions is that it needs to clear its orbit of other bodies. And Pluto does not do that. There are other bodies that travel through its orbit that are actually sometimes larger than Pluto. Neptune, for an example?
Yeah.
So Neptune and Pluto actually kind of, I think they cross nearby each other. Let's see, what's another reason? Also, if we were to include Pluto as a planet, there is a minimum of like 5 other...
I thought it was 18.
It's probably more than that, but I know with an absolute fact that there's at least 5 that we would need to include other than Pluto. And one that's actually closer to the Sun, Ceres. I think it's Ceres.
I'm not familiar with that.
I think it's in between like Mars and Jupiter.
Huh.
We would need to include another... we would need to include, at minimum, 5 more other than Pluto as part of the model. And...
that's a lot to keep track of.
That's a lot to keep track of. And it might be as high as like 18 more. Because there are other, Pluto's not the only icy body out there that's about its size. And it's a lot of the reason why people are so like attached to Pluto.
It's because they learned in Magic School Bussin' from Bill Nye.
Well, yeah. Also, so it's the only planet discovered by an American. So it has a special place in the heart of Americans. But it's actually...
I was actually not aware of that one.
Oh, really? Yeah, it was discovered by an American. Which is different. Most of them were discovered by people from Europe. Or, I mean, obviously Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, all of those ones were discovered by pretty much everyone. I mean, you can't really, say that one person really discovered them, because you can see them with your naked eye. So.
Well, some of them.
Yeah. Well, so technically, even Uranus is visible, almost unaided if you have really good vision.
Huh.
Yeah, but you have the easiest way to see it is with a relatively low power telescope. You could actually see it.
It's a relatively low powered microscope.
A telescope. Sometimes
technically a microscope is a kind of telescope.
Yeah, I confuse the two in my speech sometimes. But what was I saying? So yeah, Pluto. I mean, on the side of the Pluto debate, I'm totally cool if they add Pluto as a planet. I just want people to have good reasons for making sure that Pluto stays a planet, because our definitions of what a planet is have evolved.
And it's getting... It's weird.
So, I mean, I know that with Pluto, like when they added Uranus and Neptune as planets, I'm sure that there was a debate going on as to whether we should actually include them, since you can't actually see them with the naked eye. And the word planet actually comes from the Greek word for wanderer. So the planets by definitions were the wanderers that were up in the stars, like the gods basically, like watching us and basically doing stuff in the sky. So our definition of what a planet has already changed to include things that aren't visible using the naked eye. So if we have changed the definition, it's totally cool to change the definition. Everybody just needs to make sure to actually define what it is. Because under the current definition, I don't know that we can include Pluto's planet. I mean, it'd be totally cool. So
we're going to have to wait 3 minutes in order to get through the waterfall door.
Oh?
Like 3 real-world minutes.
I mean, I could always talk about Pluto some more. I mean, I'm not done. I mean, it's with all the... Especially with the Voyager probe.
Yeah. Voyager 2.
We have higher resolution images of Pluto now, which is wonderful.
What if we landed something on Pluto?
Well, I mean, the problem is it takes like 30 years to get there. So, because I mean, the Voyager
make it go faster.
Yes. Well, it's already speeding faster than a bullet. I mean, what more do you want?
Use a gun to make it go faster.
So, that'd be hilarious. So like
just get Arnold Schwarzenegger strapped to it with just a huge minigun. Just for 30 years, infinite ammo.
Just strap the Terminator onto the Voyager probe. He'd probably last that long. I mean, he has a nuclear reactor in him, right? Pretty sure. You ever seen the Terminator?
Nope.
Okay, so...
Alright, we gotta sit here for 3 minutes, and I don't think there's a speed up button.
Okay. Well... what? So how would you know to do this?
I don't know.
What happens at the end of the...
It's just like, okay, you can come in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think... Did I do this? I must have done this.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember doing this.
But like that little brown spot on the right side.
Brown spot on the right side.
Like underneath the water.
Oh, right. So where the water's disturbed right there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, that's where you walk in.
Huh.
But you have to sit there for 3 minutes. It doesn't get any better even if you have a turbo. Like
really?
Like you're just sitting there
like
constantly holding that button for just a long time.
So like it knows like it's something like it's. I wonder how it bases.
No, like
it
would speed it up. It's just it's a long time.
Wow.
Just to be holding one button.
Yeah. You know what's funny is using an emulator. I played Pokemon Blue, and it had a turbo button, and I spent the afternoon. I picked Squirtle, right? And I went to Viridian Forest, and I just walked back and forth, and I managed to get the Squirtle to like level 36, and and I evolved it into a Blastoise without leaving Viridian Forest.
Just
Using
walk
an
up the rock, just like,
using the turbo on an emulator.
hey, I'm here for my first gym badge.
It was ridiculous. I was
Check out my Blastoise.
like, I didn't check what it was in like real world time, like what it would have actually been, but it would have been for, because I mean you're speeding it up like times, like whatever, like times 9 or at least 2. I think it was like times 9 or something. And it took like an afternoon to do. So I mean, you know, taking, you know, let's say minimum like 4 hours, right, of me doing this. I think I was like doing something at the same time. So like, what I would do is whenever I needed to heal, I would just run back using the turbo button, back to like the
Pokemon Center.
The Pokemon Center, and then go back into Viridian Forest, just go back and forth and fight.
Did you ever run into struggle?
No, because I would always go back, because the great thing about being super speedy with turbo is that it didn't take very much time at all to go back to the Pokemon Center. So it was super quick. But yeah, like let's say 4 hours. Hypothetically, I think it might have been longer, but 4 hours. Let's say it was the I forget what the emulator was. But let's say we speeded up times 9.
Was it?
For what's 4 times
cache?
9? That's 37, 36 hours.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm bad at math.
Actually, Psycho, in his most recent Nuzlocke randomizer, he randomly found a Dunsparce.
Yeah.
And because Dunsparce is a meme, he went and ground it up to level 100. Just because.
You know, I think Dunsparce was a waste of a Pokemon.
A little bit. It's just...
It would have been...
Yeah, if you got it at the very beginning, it would probably be really good.
Yeah.
But it's an endgame Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like in Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, you get it in a cave after you beat the Elite Four.
It's like a... What type? Is it normal type?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's normal. Is it like normal rock or something?
It's just normal, as far as I know.
So it should have had an evolution.
They kind of keep missing... What if... So apparently in Gen 8, there's going to be what fans have been asking for years. What if instead of Pokemon following you, they just add an evolution for Dunsparce?
that'd be funny. I think
like, you've been asking for this for years, so here's Dunsparce's evolution.
You know, what'd be even more hilarious is Mega Dunsparce.
Oh my! What if it was stronger than Mewtwo?
That'd be hilarious.
Stronger than Mega Mewtwo.
Oh my gosh.
Mega Rayquaza.
So, you know what's funny is I've never actually played a Pokemon game that had Mega Evolution in it.
Well,
because I stopped playing. I stopped regularly playing new versions of Pokemon.
Yeah, I have
before that generation.
I have your Gen 5 game.
Black.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know not to get too depressing, but you know the reason why I gave you that game?
Yeah, because you bought it for your
I bought it for my ex-wife, and did the screen dimmed?
Yep. There we go.
So I bought it for my ex-wife, and now like I gave it to you because I was like I can't play this anymore. So that's kind of where I think that's actually the thing that's made me stop playing Pokemon.
Huh. But just
stop playing new versions of Pokemon anyway.
That game specifically, I used that to reach my first legitimate 100 on a Vaporeon. Mm-hmm. I mean, just like Vaporeon when it's 100, it's a tank.
Oh, Vaporeon's ridiculously powerful. It's easily one of the better evolutions. Evolutions, I should say. I really like Espeon. Espeon is
it's
wonderfully
probably one
powerful.
of the best attackers.
Yeah, like special attackers.
Flareon sucks.
Flareon would be much better if there were more fire-based physical attacks.
Yeah.
And there just are not.
That's kind of the same thing that happened with Rapidash, I think.
Yeah.
That just like the generation both were introduced, which is the very first one. Mm-hmm. All fire type attacks were special.
Yeah. They when did the split happen? It
Gen
was
4.
Gen 4. Okay.
Which means your
oh wow!
Your,
so
your
even
old strategies work up until Gen 3.
So even like Fire Red, Leaf Green.
Yeah, they were still all special.
Wow, that's so dumb.
And then Gengar finally got access to its ghost type moves in Gen 4 because ghost type moves were all physical.
Yeah, that's weird. That's super weird.
Ghosts can't touch anything.
It should be. Yeah, ghost type moves should all be special because they're special.
Yeah.
Ghosts are not.
They don't touch anything.
Yeah.
So. Oh, so I just remember the time.
So we need to call the episode.
Okay.
So this is Frakbox.
This is Omegawolf.
Have a great day.
Stay safe.